What is going on today, guys? Tomcat here, and there has been yet another supposed Forza Horizon 4 leak in the form of concept art. Now, this concept art was recently discovered from being done by a art design company, or art and design company, and the only thing about this, and I'm going to get this out of the way real quick in the beginning of the video, is that this could be an indicator of something that's like, a legit leak, or it could just be something that somebody unearthed and was like, oh, hey, here's something that looks really good with a Horizon 4 leak label on it. But I figured I would show it to you guys because there's nothing that says it's not legit, but there's also nothing that says it's, like, super concrete. Now, one of the pictures does have the Forza logo in it, so that does seem legit, as in, Forza characteristics-wise. But the only thing with that is that it's an older version of the Forza logo, and a lot of the cars in this concept art are older. So here's the first image, right? So we've got a Mazda Furai and what looks like a GTR race car. Now, a lot of these point to Hong Kong, and that would be, first of all, a very interesting place for a Forza game to be, but it would also be an interesting mesh, or mashup, if you will, of a lot of the places that have been suggested as locations for Horizon 4 already. Now, when I say that, I mean, take all the locations that we've seen, or at least the majorly rumored locations that we've seen, and splice them all together. Hong Kong could be the in-between for that, and not necessarily in a bad way. I think Hong Kong could definitely offer a very interesting dynamic in terms of what a Forza Horizon game needs and what a Forza Horizon game can offer when you have a properly built, properly designed, and properly functioning world. Now, moving forward ahead from that, a lot of the cars in these concept renderings are, like I said, older, but like, especially if you look at the car in the picture that's coming up next, which is a GTR, it's not even the revised front bumper that the GTRs in like 16, 17, 18, and so forth came with. So these renderings could have been from, they could have been from upwards of they could have been from upwards of 4 years ago, which is a long time. I mean, take a look here. That GTR bumper is the older style front bumper, not the newer style front bumper, which means these, like I said, were most likely done a good few years ago. And that's why I wanted to make sure that people aren't, necessarily going crazy about this being like concrete evidence that Horizon 4 is going to be in Hong Kong, because honestly, a lot of this stuff could be 2, 3, 4 years old in terms of when it was actually drawn up and when it was actually rendered, and someone could have just gotten their hands on it recently, and it then, of course, went out to kind of, went to basically wildfire, because I've seen it on a lot of websites recently. I've seen it kind of all over the place. I've seen it on Reddit, and honestly, you can kind of take it as, oh, this could be an indicator, and it could be, regardless of when it came out, it could be an indicator, but it could also be just something that a lot of websites picked up on because of Reddit, and then it just kind of went all over the place, which is a valid thing too. That could have very well have been what happened with this. Now, regardless, like I said, I'm still going to show you the rest of these. So, keeping in mind what you have in Hong Kong, the only thing that you would have to make sure of is if the game was set in Hong Kong, you would have to make sure that the game still featured mountains and usable twisty mountain road gameplay, and which, of course, you could implement into that. You would have to just, make sure it was there, because I know that a lot of the time when games, not necessarily racing games, but like games in general, are based around like Hong Kong and places like that, they usually will focus in on the city itself and keep everything very downtown feeling. And I just would not want that to happen with a Forza Horizon game, because I feel like if that happened with a Forza Horizon game, you would be really pushing away a good portion of your audience by confining them just to a tight block-based city street network. Now, this one right here is a massive dome stadium structure with a large amount of cars outside. Could be a car meet, could be anything really. Could be a start of a race, could be a car show, could be you know, the concept of what a multiplayer lobby might look like. We don't know, but that particular structure in itself, it looks like there would be, if this does end up being legit, looks like they would be focusing on, you know, large scale type stuff that would feature, you know, buildings that would really have like a wow factor to them. So that could be cool if this is a leak that really is going to go somewhere, which I'm not saying it is, but if it is, then the fact that they're focusing on stuff, you know, with wow factor could be a really, really cool thing. Because, I mean, again, I'm driving around on the Hot Wheels map, and the Hot Wheels map is all wow factor. That's literally all it is. Now, we're swapping cars over into the Twerk Stallion because I was kind of done driving around in the Hoonicorn, but back into what we're talking about related to this next game. The other thing, too, is that you would have to kind of think, okay, well, what kind of gameplay are we really talking about here? Because when you think of a city that involves a lot of like downtown driving, you kind of eliminate the use of a lot of high speed cars. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't think they would ever do that in Forza. I don't think they would ever take a Forza Horizon game and say, oh, we don't need open highways anymore for the hypercars. We don't need straightaways anymore, or we don't need mountain roads anymore. We don't know. But this is actually interesting because this kind of confirms that, number one, you can see the Forza logo on the balloon, and the thing with that is that it's an older logo, but that's not the main thing I wanted to talk about here. They're standing at an overlook, looking over a city, which, to me, says, and you can see the twisting roads on the side, which means Toge roads, if this is all legit, Toge roads would be there 100%, and if, again, concept art never fully tells the whole story because concept art is just that, a concept. But with concept art being a concept, concepts are used to carry forward into the realization of a reality, like of an actual product. So no matter where they go with this, or no matter whether or not this is real, which I'm hoping it is, because if it is, we've got those mountain roads. I mean, if that is real art that they are carrying over into an actual game. If that particular picture is the way the game is laid out, like a massive bowl, basically, with the city in the middle, and then a bunch of canyon roads that wind throughout the outside edges of this valley, of this bowl, that would be absolutely freaking insane and so amazing that I would just be all over it. I would absolutely love it. I would be all over it, and I cannot wait to see if that is truly what we're dealing with here, because if it is, you can sign me up 100 times over. I am 100% in. Absolutely 100% in, because that means Toge battles, that means Toge drifting, that means pretty much whatever you would want related to that. And the thing is, too, you can see them looking over that edge with a Mustang parked there. I mean, not only does that say, oh, hey, we're going to have these roads that are good for, like, you know, drift cars and lightweight cars and stuff like that, but we're going to have a Mustang there just because. Now, this is interesting because it looks like they're driving on train tracks. It genuinely looks like they're driving on train tracks toward a, you know, massive bustling city, which, again, you know, we all know what the rumored location is for this, but you have like kind of the minor jungle-ish kind of foliage on the side, and it's just very interesting to me that, like, so you have a train bridge, right? So that means that if this is all legit, they're gonna be taking the train track, you know, kind of dynamic that we had in Horizon 3 maybe, and carrying it forward, which hopefully they do. That's, again, all up in the air. All of this is really up in the air, but if this leak, and that's the biggest thing, and I know I keep saying if this leak is real, but this is something that, you know, yes, it was traced back to a professional design company. Yes, it seems to have relations and ties to Forza. So yes, this could very well be real and all legit and everything. But at the same time, it could all be years old, and we're not completely sure whether or not it is. At least I'm not. So I did a little bit of digging to see, but there's actually, once you kind of try to get below the surface on this stuff, on this art, there's not that much more below that, and that's why I'm kind of very careful as to what I've been saying in this video and making sure that you guys know that all this stuff is a big if, is because, like I said, once you start to kind of try to dig below the surface on where this all came from, the trail gets kind of weird really fast because there's just not that much information there. Besides, you know, these pictures just showed up and said, oh, hi, we're here. So that's why, like I said, I'm being very careful as to say Like, that's why I'm not saying, oh, this is confirmed, oh, that's confirmed, oh, this is confirmed, or oh, that's confirmed. So we're going to have to wait and see what Microsoft and Xbox themselves, you know, in Playground Games, obviously, we're going to have to see what they reveal at E3. But with that all being said, I will see you guys in the next video. Make sure you click that like button. Tell me in the comments below what y'all thought of it. And if you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe for more. I post daily videos right here on this channel every single day for you guys. That includes Forza, Spin Tires, Mud Runner, Off-Road Outlaws, bunch of different games as well. See y'all next time.